Hunger by Gamaliel Bradford, 1863 to 1932. I've been a hopeless sinner, but I understand a saint. Their bend of weary knees and their contortions long and faint, and the endless pricks of conscience like 100,000 pins, a real perpetual penance for imaginary sins. I love to wander widely, but I understand the cell, where you tell and tell your beads because you've nothing else to tell, where the crimson joy of flesh with all its wild fantastic tricks is forgotten in the blinding glory of the crucifix. I cannot speak for others, but my inmost soul is torn with a battle of desires making all my life forlorn. There are moments when I would untread the paths that I have trod. I'm a haunter of the devil, but I hunger after God. Okay, this is a poem by Gamaliel Bradford. He's actually Gamaliel Bradford the sixth. He's the sixth in a line of seven people who are of the same family, or seven generations of the same family that were called Gamaliel Bradford. He actually is a great grandson of William Bradford, who was a governor of the Plymouth colony. The Plymouth colony was the first permanent English colony, Plymouth Rock, where the Mayflower landed. Let's see, he spent some time at Harvard University, but he didn't graduate because I think he had health problems. And let's see, he's famous for writing biographies. He's known as the pioneer of the psychographic form of biographies. Psychographic is it's talking about the market research or the statistics, talking about the psychological variables of different people in their biography and what they did and their minds. Anyway, what's this poem about? Well, it's entitled Hunger. And I think in this poem he's talking about his hunger to live, his hunger to be alive. He understands what it's like to be a purely religious person, and as a descendant of these extreme Puritans, I can understand his position. He wants to live. He wants to live in the real world. He doesn't want to devote his life to worshipping God in a monastery. So it says, I've been a hopeless sinner, but I understand a saint. So I've done lots of things wrong in my life. I've sinned, but I can understand why somebody would want to be a saint. Their bend of weary knee and their contortions long and faint. So bending the knee, praying to God. Their bend of weary knees, they're praying to God and holding a position and praying to God. And the endless pricks of conscience like 100,000 sins. So if you devote your life to God, then you are always pricked by your conscience for thoughts that you might have. There are hundreds of ways to think the wrong thing, and this each time you make a mistake is like being pricked with a pin. And this is a real and perpetual penance. So this is a permanent punishment for sins that are only sins of the mind, that are sins, evil things of the imagination. So he doesn't think that this is really very useful. He can understand why somebody might devote themselves to God, but he doesn't think this is the right way. I love to wander widely, but I understand the cell. So I love to wander and go to different places, but I understand the monk in the cell, somebody who shuts themselves away from the world and dedicates themselves to worshipping God, where you tell and tell your beads because you've nothing else to tell. So in the monk in his cell, he's always talking to his rosary beads, saying prayers, because there's nothing else to talk to. There's no one else to talk to, so you talk to God. Where the crimson joy of flesh, with all its wild fantastic tricks, is forgotten in the blinding glory of the crucifix. So the red joy of sins of the flesh and all the fantastic, incredible things that sins and the evil of the flesh can do, you forget about the real world. You're not affected by the real world. You're not, and you can't sin. And all of that world is forgotten, and you only concentrate on the glory of God, the glory of Jesus, the glory of the crucifixion. I cannot speak for others, so I can only speak for myself, but my inmost soul is torn with a battle of desires, making all my life forlorn. So my soul inside is always a battleground, which can make my life very sad. I'm always battling against my earthly desires. But I think he's saying that this fight within him to fight the evils of the world and to face them and to behave, to be a good person. This perhaps is the way to deal with them. There are moments when I would untread the paths that I have trod. So there are many things that I have done in my life that I wish I hadn't done. I wish I hadn't taken this path or that path. I wish I'd done something different. I'm a haunter of the devil. So I do the devil's work. I do evil things. There are many evil things that I do. But I hunger after God. But what I really want is to be a good person. So I do evil, but I try to be good. And he's trying to be good within a world of sin, of temptation. So, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Hunger by Gamaliel Bradford.